Now, Ukraine has launched a targeted strike on Russia's energy infrastructure. This time it has struck a key facility, the Druzhba oil pipeline, one of the largest crude oil facilities in the world. The Hungarian foreign minister said that the Ukrainian forces have attacked the Druzhba oil pipeline for the third time, suspending oil supplies from Russia to Hungary. The Ukrainian commanders have confirmed striking a critical part of the oil pipeline, and Ukraine's military struck the Unecha oil pumping station, a critical part of Russia's Europe-bound Druzhba oil pipeline. And the attack has caused a large fire. Satellite imagery, thermal data from NASA and official statements from both sides have now verified this strike. And this marks yet another blow to Russia's fuel infrastructure. The Unecha station plays a critical role in pumping oil through the Druzhba pipeline that supplies Russian crude to several European nations. The Druzhba pipeline is one of the world's largest oil pipeline networks, stretching over 5,500 kilometers. It begins in Russia's Almatyevsk region, carrying oil from Siberia and the Urals. It then splits at Moser in Belarus. The northern division of the Druzhba pipeline continues to play a strategic role in supplying Russian crude oil to Belarus, Germany and Poland. With the southern branch now passing through Ukraine and also supplying Hungary and Slovakia. Both these EU countries still receive Russian oil under exemptions from European Union sanctions. Now, Hungary's Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó confirmed that crude oil deliveries to his country have now been halted following the strike. He suggested that it may be a deliberate attempt to draw Hungary deeper into the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The fallout from Ukraine's strikes on Russian energy infrastructure is now drawing political fire from within the European Union. Now, Hungary and Slovakia are urging the European Commission to step in and to stop Ukraine from attacking the Druzhba oil pipeline, which supplies the Russian crude to both nations. They've called on the European Commission to guarantee the security of and supply and take measures to prevent further disruptions, essentially pressuring Ukraine to halt such attacks. The Bryansk regional governor Alexander Bogomaz blamed both drone and missile attacks for the damage, and while Ukraine is tightening its grip on Russian energy routes, Russia continues to retaliate, intensifying its own strikes on Ukraine's power grid and infrastructure. All right, now joining us on the broadcast, we've got Dr. Paul Dorfman, who is a Bennett scholar at the Bennett Institute, University of Sussex. He's also a member of the Irish Government Radiation Protection Advisory Committee and chair at the Nuclear Consulting Group. Dr. Dorfman, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on this broadcast and beyond. Now, this is quite clearly a strike that was carried out by the Ukrainians to halt the Russian supply of gas and other hydrocarbons to these critical nations in Europe. In your assessment, what impact do you think this has on the war?
Before the war started, the EU imported about 27% of its crude oil. This came down to about 3% after the sanctions drew in. So this will have a significant impact on actually maybe Hungary, maybe Slovenia. As for the rest, much less so. What's important also to understand is that there are still no sanctions on Russian nuclear. And Rosatom, which is the Russian nuclear institute, bankrolls the Russian war machine. EU imports $700 million worth of Russian nuclear enrichment per year. That's 20% of pan-EU nuclear uranium conversion and enrichment. Russian-dominated Kazakhstan produces 43% of all uranium needed worldwide for nuclear reactors. So this is just one instance of where we can see how far Russia has its hand in dominating energy resources, right, and what that implies.
You know, I think that's a critical point that you've made. While the West, led by the United States, has been making a lot of noise on cutting down the purchase of Russian hydrocarbons, but the fact that they continue to purchase more and more of these Russian nuclear fissile material, why is it that the West cannot find some alternative sources instead of relying on these sources from Russia?
Well, this May, the Rosatom directors said that Russia is ready to keep on supplying the enriched uranium to the USA. The US itself relies on Russia to supply 27% of all its enriched uranium. So there's a very significant input of Russia, both in terms of enriched uranium, but also in terms of new build, and all that implies. The point being that Rosatom, Russia's nuclear capacity, essentially bankrolls its war machine. And all that implies for the relative ethics of sanctions or non-sanctions, as the case may be.
Right. Interesting. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Paul Dorfman, for joining us with those details there.
Thank you.